Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is gonna be a bit of a long video. The rest of my first quarter and second quarter hauls were both relatively short because I didn't buy a ton of books. I went nuts in the last 3 months and I don't know what happened to my brain, but I did. So I'm gonna jump right into those. I hope you're enjoying my spooky Halloween background. It's my favorite time to decorate. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in because there are a lot of books right here ready for me to show you. Okay, I'm trying to do this in an organized manner, but I'm having a little bit of a difficulty with that. These are the books that I purchased in July and August. Actually, these are going to be mostly July because I think I only purchased one book in August. I read it and then I got rid of it. So the August book that I got was called something about the Mad Ache maybe, and it was just okay. I have already talked about it in a wrap-up. Nothing to write home about. But in July I bought several books, most of which I've already read and talked about, so I won't go into a huge amount of detail. First is the 8th volume of Lumberjanes, which is a really lovely continuation of the Lumberjanes story, and this one has a lot of Greek mythology in it, which was a lot of fun. Next, another book that I read was A Sky Painted Gold by Laura Wood. This is a beautiful cover and just stunning book all the way around. This is a really fun kind of 1930s, 1929, so 20s into the 30s YA novel that is sort of like a little bit like Glittering Gatsby age, but also just sort of like if you're into that type of book where it follows kind of the wealthy upper class and how they spend their time. This was a kind of fun foray into that. It was compared to Gatsby, but it didn't have some of the gritty, uncomfortable things that Gatsby has in it. And I thought that the love interest in this was done beautifully and it built in a really natural, interesting way. So I would recommend this one if that sounds at all interesting to you. And then I also picked up and then read Passing Strange, which is a really fantastic novel set in the 40s about a group of queer women and kind of their relationships, their day-to-day lives, and then there's a little bit of a magical twist in there. This is a beautiful, beautiful book, and I really enjoyed that one too. As I said, there's more information and more details on these in past wrap-up videos. I just kind of want to get through these quick so that I can get to the ones I haven't talked about yet. And then the last one, I think, well, there's one more that I've read, but A Record of a Spaceborne Few by Becky Chambers. It's the 3rd book in her Wayfarers series of companion books, and this is by far my favorite. It follows the Exodon fleet, and I just was so engrossed and fascinated, and I just loved this. So I did also pick up Interpreter of Maladies by Jhumpa Lahiri in July, and this is the only one from July and August that I haven't read. This is a short story collection that I don't know a lot about, but I have heard really great things about it. I think Mercedes from Mercy's Bookish Musings raved about this or has really liked this, rated it highly, and I've been meaning to pick this up for years, and they finally had a copy in this edition that wasn't scribbled on at my local used bookstore. Finally, we're getting into September, which is where the bulk of the books come in. The first one I have read, this is Class of Civilizations Over an Elevator in Piazza Vittorio, and this is an Italian translated novel that was brilliant and deals with the issue of immigration and how people think about immigrants in a very interesting way. So I highly recommend this book. I really, really enjoyed it, and it made me think about a lot of things. So I've also talked about this one in a wrap-up as well. And that was the first of a few books that I picked up from my local used bookstore. The next one was this one, which is Go, Went, Gone, And I saw this floating around Instagram, and that's the only place that I really saw it. And then when I went to New York, I saw this everywhere. But this is another story that has to do with immigration and immigrants. And I believe that this is, yeah, it's translated from German. And it's essentially someone who lives in Alexandriaplatz, and they see this group of immigrants and kind of decide to invest time in them and really get an idea of what their lives are like and the kind of people they are and that kind of thing. So it makes an advocate out of him. So this is something that the concept of it just sounds really interesting, and I love a good translated book as well. And then I picked up The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This was actually on my Christmas wish list because I have a retelling of this that I want to read, but I want to read the original first. And then I saw this at my local used bookstore, and it's in great condition except that it has tape on the corners, which I don't know if you can see that or not. But that doesn't really bother me because it actually keeps the corners of this sturdier, because these are kind of delicate in my opinion. They're the paper ones, not the ones with the buttery covers. So they don't hold up very well if you take them, like carry them around with you. So I don't mind the fact that there's tape on the corners. And I also acquired a paperback copy of Sourdough by Robin Sloan. I am really interested to read this. Robin Sloan wrote Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore, which I liked but did not love. But the concept of sourdough sounds really interesting to me. And I don't know, I like bread. That's honestly half of the reason I want to read this, is because I like bread. So we'll see if bread actually has anything to do with this. I know it has something to do with somebody giving somebody their sourdough starter. That's really mostly what I know. And then I picked up another Europa edition. This is Crusoe's Daughter, and I actually was inspired to read Robinson Crusoe because of this book, because I wanted to read it before I read this one. Because this one, basically, it's about a girl who is on kind of a bleak, lonely coast of England, and it says it's so isolated she might as well be marooned on a desert island. And she is especially fond of Robinson Crusoe, and then it's about kind of how that weaves into her thoughts and her life and all of that. So wanted to read that before I read this one, but now that I have, I'm looking forward to getting this one soon. So that is it for this part of the book haul. I'll actually have a second part coming up that is just the books that I acquired while I was in New York. I went a little crazy while I was there, and this video is getting a little long, so I decided to separate them into two. But that will be coming pretty soon, and there's fun books in that one as well, most of which I have not already read. And yeah, so that'll be it. Let me know if you like my spooky background. Give me a spooky emoji in the comments, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!